Hello there, and welcome to the Jersey Nerds Podcast, your home for debates and discussions surrounding sports uniforms, hockey jersey design, and more. I'm Chris. We got Hunter and Noah here right now, and we might have more people on later, but we're honestly not sure where Justin or Bpoe are, so we're just kind of like, if they hop in, and we'll just see what happens, see how it goes. So we're going to be talking NHL stuff today. We might be talking a little Major League Soccer, but we'll see what happens there. And let's start off the way Hunter started off last week. What's everybody wearing? And we'll do Noah last because we're going to have a lot to talk about there. Hunter, what the heck do you have on? Are you muted, Hunter? We can't even hear you.
Am I muted? Yeah, I am muted. Here. I'm talking now.
Great.
There are two Kings fans today because I'm wearing my Burger King jersey because I actually haven't worn it in a while. So this is actually, it's really fun. I love this jersey, even though
it's so funny seeing like mostly just the shoulders because it looks like you're wearing like a jersey that was cut in half because I just see a black shoulder on one side and then white everywhere else.
Yeah, exactly.
And so that's funny.
Poorly executed, but still a fun jersey to wear, I guess.
Yeah, and of course I've got the kind of mid-2000s Kings white jersey. I mean, when they had a crown on the jersey, it was the best. And then they had actual color in there. There was purple. And so, that's cool. It's got nice striping as well. I like it. And now let's talk about what Noah's wearing. Noah, why?
It's one of the best Flames jerseys I've ever worn. I will keep that opinion forever. And when I saw the chance to get it, I had to take it.
I respect it, but then explain the hat.
Oh, yeah. And an Oilers hat because I like chaos.
Show us the hat.
How dare you?
Oilers.
I am here for the chaos, and that is all.
It's like it reminds me of that vine from It reminded me of that vine from a while back where that kid's like Pepsi, Coke glass, pours it together. He's like, I don't give a shit.
I would like to remind everybody that Noah, who is personifying the Battle of Alberta right now, lives in Ottawa. So just to add another layer to the chaos.
Probably got a bunch
what if someone was going to name their kid Albert, but then it was a girl? So if you were going to have a kid and you're going to name it Albert, but then it turned out to be a girl, would you name it Alberta?
Ooh.
I guess.
No. Yes. Probably not. No. Wait. I don't know.
No.
I don't want to name my kid Albert, so I'm out.
There's our first issue. Ooh, excuse me.
For all you Alberts out there, I'm not saying your name is bad. I just don't like it. But
okay. So how do we want to kick this podcast off? Let's kick it off with a nice report coming from somebody who has leaked things in the past and hasn't done the worst job of leaking Bruins-related news. Pete Blackburn, who is, I believe, formerly of CBS Sports now, put out a tweet the other day because somebody had tweeted something about wouldn't it be cool if the Bruins brought back, their kind of old look, the kind of older classic look. I don't think they had any one look that, really defined them, but it's kind of like the 80s, 90s classic Bruins, you would say. Okay, that tweet came from @HitmanLaw, who kind of made a Bruins jersey concept from the 80s, 90s, set of Bruins 2.0, a Bruins jersey concept from a lifelong diehard Bruins fan. And Pete Blackburn, who's @Pete Blackburn, said, FYI, from what I've heard, the Bruins are preparing to go back to these jerseys full-time at some point soon. And Pete Blackburn is currently doing national NHL coverage for Bally Sports. But so, thinking of the Bruins their current set as is, along with the reverse retro that we've seen. What are our thoughts on the Bruins potentially completely scrapping the set they have and going to something inspired by what they wore in the 80s and 90s? Nope, nobody? Okay. Sounds good.
Well,
Oh, I was gonna let Noah go, but
okay.
yeah,
Yeah,
Noah, go.
Okay.
It's fine.
throwing out a link to the tweet too
I'd
for
say
anybody wants to see it in the notes.
it's a lateral move at best. Like, I'm really a fan of their current set. Their current logo is definitely the best they've ever had. And I really like the yellow yoke on their home jersey. It's pretty nice. And it's not that the jerseys they would be switching to are bad. I just don't think they're better than what they have now. They'd still be top half of the league, but I honestly prefer what they have now.
Yeah, I don't know. Like I want to say I'm on the fence because I'm just kind of impartial, I guess, towards the change. Like we've all kind of talked about how like their current set is it's good. It's not bad. There are some small changes that need to be made, but that's like a very small problem, right? Um there's nothing wrong with this set either if they decide to go back to it. The yellow socks on the mock-up that he posted is a little concerning with the black uniform for me at least.
Well,
Um
that's how they had it though, right? All those years.
I mean,
Yeah,
I
it
I
is.
don't like that, but um even still, like, going back to this, it isn't necessarily bad. It's just, it's whatever. It's like, okay, we're gonna go back to it's nostalgia for nostalgia's sake almost, except not a bad nostalgia move like countless other teams have made, wherein like they're gonna go back to a jersey that like it's definitely just a cash grab, but at the end of the day, it's not a bad design either. So like, it's not. It's a lateral move, like Noah said. It just seems kind of unnecessary. But I guess with the way the reverse retro was received, it'll at least make their set cohesive if they bring the reverse retro on as an alternate. But I mean, I haven't heard anything about that either. So
Yeah, definitely true. I mean, to create, for me at least, to create an ideal Bruins set, you need to take elements from their 80s and 90s look and their elements from their current look and kind of, create some kind of combination of those. But that just wouldn't sell well with fans. It would look the best, but the fact that you're trying to combine two different eras into one thing, like they're so similar enough to the casual average fan that like I don't think you could do that. You kind of have to pick one or the other. And I'm kind of split here because I think the throwback white jersey is better than their current white jersey, but I think the black one is worse. I agree with Noah that yellow yoke really does wonders for it, and but something about the striping on the road uniform, the way that works, it just looks like the Bruins more than their current striping on their road does to me. And so, yeah, I kind of agree with Noah that this would be, a lateral move. If you went full throwback, the logo would be worse, the shoulder patches would be worse, and the home striping would arguably be worse. Wait, actually, no, the home striping may maybe be a little better because at least there'd be some variation in thickness of those stripes. But either way, some things would be a downgrade, some things would be an upgrade. No matter what, they'd still have a top 10 uniform set in the league. Either way, like I don't think we can
Yeah.
deny that at all. That's for sure. But yeah, so some things would be better, some things would be worse, and they'd still look like the Bruins. It wouldn't be an awful thing for them to do. Like we wouldn't be upset at it, wouldn't be mad at it. But I also, part of me feels like their current set is one of the better sets they've had. Um, I mean, of course, the only thing I want to see is their reverse retro kept on, but worn with a yellow helmet. I don't, for some reason, it feels way too black heavy when they have the black helmet, black pants. To me, am I wrong to say that?
I think we'd have to see it in
no,
action
I
to
don't
make a
think so.
verdict.
Like it kind of suffers from the same thing
I
that
feel
Vegas,
like it
that
can kind of be. I was just gonna say, I feel like with the yellow helmet, like as much as in theory it would work, I think it's kind of similar to Vegas's gold helmets in a sense, where like it's a dangerous game until you actually see them on the ice, because like yeah, theoretically those gold helmets should have worked with the right jersey, but they refuse to wear them with the right jersey all
well, that's
season long.
that's what I was gonna say about Vegas's gold jersey. We've shown how if your jersey is a colored jersey, but it's a little bit lighter, then a dark
Mhm.
helmet is the worst choice at all times. Like having a helmet that's a similar, the same color.
Just recording a
Nationals proved that to
podcast. How
us.
about you?
Vegas proved that to us. Welcome in, Bpoe, and we're gonna ask the same question to you that
Man,
we've been talking about now.
shows up late and then creates more chaos.
Yes, indeed. Well,
What
we
else
started
am
up.
I here for other than to create chaos?
True.
Sounds good. First off, Bpoe, since you missed the introductions, what are you wearing today?
I am wearing a Pittsburgh Pirates jersey, Andrew McCutcheon. I got it at Burlington Coat Factory, and I'm only wearing it because I felt like I would have died if I wore a long sleeve shirt right now. So
Ooh.
I was gonna wear a different one, but I didn't want to.
Bpoe's on a
death.
podcast talking about long sleeve shirts, and he's anti long sleeve shirt. That's dangerous.
I mean, don't
technically
disrespect the
wouldn't have
jersey
been
by calling it a
dangerous
shirt.
to- I mean,
Yeah.
here's the thing.
Long sleeve sweater.
My college dorm doesn't have the greatest air conditioning, so maybe whenever I'm back home for after I graduate in a week, maybe then I'll be better off.
There
Okay,
you go.
sounds good. Anyway, rumors about the Bruins switching back to an 80s, 90s look full time. Thoughts on that?
So I'm pretty sure I've said on the podcast before that I don't love the current Bruins set. Like they're fine, but there's something about them that like isn't perfect to me. And I really like, the Bruins 80s set that they're rumored to go back to. I'm usually against like throwback for throwback's sake, which like has me really conflicted here because I like the other ones, but yet I don't want them to just throwback for throwback's sake, but like just in terms of, pure visuals, I think it'd be an improvement. I don't know if you guys brought it up at all, but somebody mentioned like the shoulder patch, the crack bear. There's no need to bring that back. Come on, just
Meth
use the
bear,
just Meth Bear. Just use the current one, guys. Just use the current alternate logo. That would be fine.
Well, it's
It's
funny.
like the Senators with their logo. It belongs in the area it was in, or at least modernize it.
It's funny because we know that you're someone that hates black jerseys, and this uniform would have a lot more black on it than their current sets, aside from the socks. And so it's like, who are you?
Well, here's the thing. I hate black jerseys unless they have a lot of color. That jersey is one that has enough color on it. And it's also a very bright and bold color in yellow. Kind of like Dallas's alternate, which while it doesn't have a ton of the green on it, it's a very bright and bold color in that green. So it kind of, balances out, if that makes sense.
Yeah, again, a move like this, they'd still look like the Bruins, but maybe something would feel a little weird. It would take a little bit of getting used to. You'd still
I
feel
think
like
it's the yellow socks.
but they had those until like 2015. So like
I
we
know.
saw those. Like they won a cup in those. Like I mean, well, not in them. They wore the whites in the cup, but still, who cares? But like, yeah, like that wouldn't be too hard to get. You just feel. I'd feel like they're wearing an alternate or a heritage jersey for like the first season. I mean, kind of like the Flames too. Like you turn them on, and you're just like, oh yeah, like oh, you're pleasantly surprised, and you're like, oh yeah, that's what they wear now. So something like that. Anywho. What are you staring at, Bpoe?
Same. He's typing.
He looks so intensely focused.
I'm typing to Burkus.
Why do you have a black light on your microphone? Is what I'm worried about here.
A black that?
Ah!
Yeah.
Oh, it does look like a black light on my shirt. I figured, I'm like, okay, let's not have it go right at the camera like that.
It
It's a
helps you.
microphone, UV
And
light,
it looks,
all
and
in
it just
one.
looks like a black light on my shirt. You're right.
It helps you check for stains before you record.
Oh God.
Though I'm concerned about why you'd have stains
Stop.
on.
Stop talking.
Let's just move on.
All right, well, it's been a good
You're still
episode,
recording
everybody.
this now. Did you pause? Are
Indeed.
you still recording this now?
No, we're recording. This is going to be the ultimate chaos episode. We're going to have
Nice.
people coming in throughout the episode. Like Burkus is going to join at some point.
Well, we don't know that.
It's going to be
Well,
great.
I was gonna say,
Well, I
whenever
mean,
y'all are
he
ready
said
to have
15
him on,
minutes.
let me know. I don't know when we're ready to move over to that topic, or if you guys covered it a little beforehand already.
We'll come if said guest comes on. Anywho,
I told him.
Should I
said he
just
would be
let
on
him
in
join
15.
whenever he wants?
I already told him to come on whenever. I sent him the link.
Oh, okay. You already sent him a link. Perfect.
why are we talking about this now? Let's move on to the NHL playoffs.
You're the one who brought it up. You asked me what I was staring at.
Playoffs.
Playoffs?
Talk about
Playoffs.
playoffs?
Playoffs.
I just want to win a game.
By the time you start listening to this, the playoffs will have begun. And the regular season, I think, will still be finishing. It's really weird this year. We don't know why. It's very strange. It's very weird. I don't know how I feel about it. Anyway, the two jersey-related playoff news things to discuss are the fact that teams are able to choose which of their uniforms they'd like to have as their designated home uniform throughout the playoffs. And two of the teams featured in these playoffs have decided to make changes, not deciding to not wear their primary home jerseys, but to wear alternate uniforms at home throughout the playoffs. And we have, doing that, as no surprise, the Carolina Hurricanes will be wearing their black alternates as opposed to their red primaries. And a little surprising to me, but not like that. I mean, I didn't expect this to happen, is the Pittsburgh Penguins are wearing their gold, yellow, whatever alternates at home. Yes, Bpoe?
Man, it's hard to point at stuff whenever the camera.
Oh, I thought you were just pointing at the ceiling, but no, you're pointing at the gold jersey behind
There it
you.
is.
Wonderful. Great to see.
For those of you who can't see, I was trying and failing to point at the Penguins alternate jersey hanging behind me, except my camera's like mirrored, so it's hard to like get my. There we go. Now I got the right hand. Wait.
Yeah. So I don't
Okay,
think.
go, Ian.
I don't think we really need to talk about Carolina's decision here because I think we're all sad and disappointed by it because I think we all know that their black and gray alternate is just a worse jersey than their home. It's just inherently worse. The striping's worse. The shoulder yoke is worse. The logo on the front is worse. But the fans have embraced it, and so that's why they're doing it. They're kind of like, oh, we're like take warning. We're in black or whatever. And I mean, does it have? No, it does. I was going to say maybe it has slightly better color balance. The fact that it's not like the all red can be a little jarring, but it's still a better design. It's a better logo on front. It's better. It's just so much better than their alternates. So unless anybody has something else to say about that, I don't think we need to argue about that one bit and say that we condemn this decision and hope it never happens again, even though we know it will.
It actually
I personally
makes me
just find
angry.
it funny how. Sorry, go ahead, Noah.
It just the fact that they like the jersey so much makes me angry.
Yeah,
hate it.
I find it so funny that like all of us have a very just unanimous distaste for that jersey, and everybody else just loves it. It's so weird, and I'd certainly say that the home has better color balance because they hadn't have enough black on the jerseys to balance that and socks. I think I'd assume, and to balance out the red pants. It just doesn't. It's like the Kachina. It doesn't make any sense to me. Well, I guess the Kachina is kind of a more split decision between us. I think it's not unanimously disliked.
I mean, the Kachina at least has a certain charm to it. The black jersey with the gray yoke. It I don't know how that, like, I understand wanting to put an alternate logo on your chest as an alternate, but when you make it your designated home, it just feels weird that they have, I mean, we all know it's weird that they have a different logo in every single one of their jerseys. Like, we've already been mad about that before. It's just sad. It's just really sad, and we
You
lament
just made
their
me
decision.
realize now that they do this, they don't have their primary logo on either of their playoff jerseys.
What
At
about
least
like
on the front of the jersey.
don't they have it on as shoulder patches on one of them?
I think it's not in the primary colorway on the black one, but it's on the black one.
Oh my
On one
God.
side, yeah.
Oh my God, yeah, they have it on one shoulder and I think the white helmet, and that's it. And the pants, it looks
Oh
like.
my gosh, you're right, because they have
Why
the
did you
alternate
have to
logo
point
on
this
shoulder
out? You've made it so much worse.
See, I was only trying to point out that they didn't have it on their chest, and yet it's worse than I thought.
Can you imagine if they made the hurricane warning flag logo their primary logo?
I was about to say it might not be a problem whenever they change the black to their
my
primary
gosh.
next year, as is rumored.
Oh no.
Ugh.
Oh no. Oh no. Okay. And so
Why
we're
are
all
people stupid?
we're all sad. Like the Canes, they finally because like we're all making brackets and playoff brackets and stuff, and part of me was like, yeah, like I want to see, like I respect the Canes as an organization, and they have a great fan base, and I want to see them do really well, but I don't want to see them do well in their current uniform set. I just don't. You know?
I've legitimately been like turned off of watching previous Canes playoff games just because they're in the terrible jerseys.
Like the white ones, they're not good, but you can like withstand them, and like it's just they have so much potential, and they have just screwed it up so bad trying to be something that they don't need to be. You know, they've moved away from what defines them, and they've just decided to go with what's trendy and popular. You know, and that's sad. So let's move on to the Penguins now, because the Penguins will be wearing their gold alternates, which has a yellow gold. It has a yellow gold helmet, right? Yes, it does. Okay, I got sidetracked for a second there. The main difference between that and their home is the sleeve striping is a little different, and there is no hem striping. But otherwise, it's pretty. Oh yeah, on the Penguin it's not in a triangle. But overall, it's pretty good. I mean, I understand the decision to want to go with a bolder color at home for the playoffs. But like, okay, what does everyone else think of this first? Let's get that out there, and we'll hear Bpoe last because he's a Pens fan. Nice job clearing your throat, Hunter.
I mean,
now say something.
I see your anti-Pens fan discrimination here.
I literally tried to, and then Bpoe started talking. Bpoe, you're going last. Stop.
Well, I was trying to make a joke because nobody was talking, and then he started talking.
I was gonna. Jeez. I think this is the flip side of the coin, you know, whereas Carolina's choice to use their alternate as full-time is bad. As good as Pittsburgh's home is, their alternate is still good, so I don't think this is a bad decision. You know, it's interesting because like their home is already good, so I don't know why they need to do it. But I mean, if they're finding that their alternate's popular, then do it, I guess. Like anything to see more color in the playoffs, I guess, is more my thought. Where like, you know, Carolina's devoiding us of color and getting rid of red for black and gray. Pittsburgh's like, yeah, we're gonna stop using black and just use gold now. So I'm all for it.
Quick to if your point of if they find this popular, Pens fans do not like this decision. Just for some context, not at all.
Why?
I have no idea, but I'm last, so I'll wait for my viewpoint because I do not agree.
All right, Noah.
I agree. Like, I didn't expect it, but I don't mind it because it's not a bad jersey like Carolina. I just find it weird that they're choosing to do it again because, like, back when they had their old Reebok jerseys, they switched that with their current home jerseys in the playoffs. So it's like they're just pushing the jerseys that they promoted to the side again for another jersey, which I find really confusing, but I don't mind it as much as Carolina because Carolina's is just plain bad, whereas Pittsburgh's is more middle of the pack.
Yeah, this is a visually, aesthetically speaking, a better decision than Carolina's. I still don't like it though, because I feel like when teams make these playoff jersey decisions, they're thinking short term. Either they're thinking, oh, we'll just have this on for a couple rounds and that'll be good. Like, what if your team makes a cup run? Are you willing and prepared to win a Stanley Cup wearing these? And I think if you're Pittsburgh or Carolina, your answer should be no. Your answer should be you don't want to do that. I think Carolina's stupid and would want to do that. But no, I don't think Pittsburgh should want to do that at all. I mean, maybe they think, oh, we have so many pictures of our players wearing a certain jersey winning the cup. Maybe we should wear a different one this time when we win the cup. It's like, but no, like it's not a bad jersey, but it's a worse jersey than their home. It is absolutely a worse jersey. Also, I think I'm biased against jerseys that are colored that also have dark numbers. Like I hate the Oilers orange jersey because that has dark numbers. So maybe I don't. Maybe I'm just a little biased there. But I like having more color. But
like there's no way white numbers work on that though.
Also agreed. I never said they would. That doesn't mean I'm gonna like it.
Okay. At least you admit your logic is flawed.
I mean, I guess Nashville makes it work on the I guess on a yellow jersey it works okay. Like it's better on a yellow jersey than any other color jersey. How about that?
Fair. So, I mean, I know I've said on the podcast before, I love the Penguins alternate jerseys. I really like the splash of extra color they add. And they're a weird one, and I'm pretty sure we'll be getting to this later in the podcast as well. But, like, I know they don't have a hem stripe, but I think it works. I've tried mocking up, fixes and adding hem stripes. I haven't liked any, anytime I've done that. I really like this jersey. However, I don't think it deserves to be a primary home jersey, which makes this move interesting to me. I think overall, I enjoy seeing the splash of yellow a lot more than I enjoy seeing, black with a little bit of yellow. But, so, like, in that sense, I'm going to enjoy seeing this jersey a lot over, the next, hopefully, month or two. We'll see how long the Penguins go. But it is interesting, and I wonder if it has anything to do with, like, superstition, because there's been a lot of comparisons made this year to, like, 2016, like, Malkin getting hurt partway through the season, the goalie getting hurt in the second to last game, and, the personnel change midway through. Last time it was a coach, this way it's a GM. So I wonder, and they wore an alternate jersey that time, so I wonder if it has anything to do with superstition, especially with how superstitious Crosby is. Who knows? Oddly enough, there's also rumors this jersey is going to be gone next year. If so, this move makes even less sense unless they're just trying to sell jerseys. So, I really don't know. I don't know exactly why they chose to do this. I don't mind it. But, it is what it is. Pens fans don't like it at all. Which, I don't entirely get that, but... Because I agree with you guys, at the most, just from an objective standpoint, it's kind of a lateral move at best.
Did anyone else see Burkus Circus, aka Matt Burke, appear in the podcast and then disappear like a ghost?
Yeah.
I did. I'm wondering if he's having internet issues or something. Which we tested this last night and it worked fine.
Like a ghost of Columbus sports teams past.
He shows up and then we decide, nah, that's not worth
it. He shows up and we just kick him out immediately.
It's like every professional Columbus sports team. It shows up and we're like, oh, that's cool. But then we're like, nah, we're kind of over it.
No.
It's like big name players when they show up to the Blue Jackets. I'm like so sorry, Burkus.
Players.
Oh gosh, what stars have the Blue Jackets had that they've actually like kept for a long time and thrive? Like Rick Nash is the only guy I can think of. Is that even accurate?
Yeah, and I mean, whenever he left, he was very justified because the Blue Jackets weren't good yet.
Yet they had the
Yes.
7 years he was on the team to become good, and they just never did.
Yeah, I mean, like at that point, the cards are stacked against them.
Yeah,
Because they weren't given the Vegas treatment as an expansion team. That's for sure.
no.
Gosh, they need like Columbus is moving in the right direction visually speaking, but like they need a full redesign. Let's be honest. Like I'm on that train.
You know what they really need? They need to
Yeah.
move to Houston.
the Houston Blue Jackets.
Says the guy that's a fan of the weakest Canadian franchise right now.
Well, how would they be the Blue Jackets in Houston? Because they would. Houston.
I mean, I never said they needed to stay the Blue Jackets. They could become something else. Just
well, it'll just be like the Lakers and the Jazz in the NBA. It won't make any sense. The Utah Jazz. What does Utah have to do with Jazz? LA doesn't have any lakes. Lakers.
LA also doesn't have any Clippers because Clippers are a type of ship, and the Clippers started in San Diego. So both
the LA teams are named like that?
Yes, both the LA
Toronto
teams have
doesn't have
nothing
any
to do with
Raptors.
LA. You don't know
because
that.
they moved from somewhere else, though?
You don't know if Toronto has Raptors or not.
We did.
I mean, now they do technically.
They're sewer Raptors. You see?
Yes.
You can't see them because they're in the sewer.
No, that's John Cena.
He's in Toronto?
No, you can't see him.
Oh. Okay, that makes sense then. Okay, well, we were going to have Burkus on to talk Columbus-related news for just a minute there. But since he came and went already without saying a word, let's move into...
And there's Burkus' opinion on the Columbus. Oh, he's back. I see another guest that's just popped.
There he
he's coming in. No, okay, Mailbag will come later then, because as we wait for Burkus' train to stop at the right stop, you got to get off at the right stop, you know?
This is all going according to plan.
Oh, the square opened up.
And
it's gone.
And he's gone. No.
All right.
Oh, his name's still there.
I see his name.
Oh my gosh, this is entertaining. Yeah, thank you.
What a world. Welcome to the Jersey Nerds disaster.
Okay, I think it's time for an ad break now. The Jersey Nerds podcast is sponsored by Your Face.
Matt Burke.
Your face.
Look at your face.
Wait,
it's looking
he's
at
back
us
again.
if you're watching on a video, and we're happy that your face is looking at us. Guess who's back? Back again.
Matt Burke's back. Columbus.
Oh, his video has popped up with an M.
We're gonna Columbust these rumors. I don't know.
Stop it. You're treading in very dangerous territory. Stop it. I can tell you right now, nobody looked at that new Columbus branding and went, I'm going to Columbus. Like,
whoa. That is not where I thought this was going.
What?
Anyway,
it's the only direction it could have went.
We can get the conversation going for a little bit here since Matt is having beyond technical issues here. The Columbus Crew are an MLS franchise. The Columbus Crew have been around. Shush. Columbus Crew have been part of Major League Soccer since they were founded in 1994, and they've been playing. Yeah, they've been playing since what 96 or something. Yeah, they played their first game in April 96. They have been the Columbus Crew for all these years, for over 25 years. And I remember a few years ago there was a whole movement that like the league, the team's gonna move, the team's gonna fold or whatever, and like the fans like rallied together with the whole Save the Crew campaign. I remember that lasted over a year, trying to change their ownership to make sure that they stayed in Columbus and that they could save the Columbus Crew. And they did it. It won. They got a new ownership group. They kept the team there, and everybody was happy and amazing. And the Crew's first logo was one of the more I don't want to say infamous, but one of the stranger logos in Major League Soccer to start off. It literally had like a crew of people. It looked like 3 firemen just kind of like looking at you, and it said the crew. It was like a shield shape. So that was interesting. But then in 2014, they introduced
Me
a
and the
new,
crew at 3 a.m. looking for beams.
In 2014, I believe they introduced a new Roundel logo, a different shade of yellow that was more inspired, kind of a European, more type crest. And that was, Columbus Crew SC, Columbus Crew Soccer Club's the name they went by, and it's excellent logo, wonderful. And then we have the recent news, as a few weeks into the 2021 season. Remember, like, their season had already begun. Like, we're midway into the season when the Crew announced. Well, first it came out as a rumor, but now it was officially announced that the team would be changing its name from the Columbus Crew to Columbus SC, using Columbus Crew and the Crew as an informal nickname, and completely rebranded, and they have a completely new logo as well. New logo type. The shape of the logo is supposed to be inspired by the Columbus flag. It's kind of a, how many sides is that? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 pentagon-sided thing, but it's kind of like, cut inwards a little bit. It's got a little sharp angle in it, and it's got a C in it, and it's has Columbus above that, SC underneath that, and honestly, it looks kind of like an exclamation point.
Do you guys think the C stands for Columbus or for Crew?
Oh no, they're not called Crew anymore. They're
I
just
think
called
it stands
Columbus
for
SC.
cancerous logo.
No, that's CL.
It just stands for club.
Okay, and considering that Matt here is from Lumbus, we wanted to bring him on to have him talk about this new rebrand and what he thinks of it. It has had severely negative reaction from both fans of Columbus and probably around the world, I'm going to say. And we would love for him to stop having technical difficulties and to actually get on here. So Matt, welcome to Not the Podcast. We don't think
I
you
couldn't
can
tell
hear
if
us.
that was you trying to see if it actually worked or not. Oh, there it's gone.
Bye-bye.
Man, we really just tested his internet yesterday, and it was fine for him. I mean, not perfect, but like it was doable.
Well, either way, how about we get into this real quick? Because this is probably one of the biggest like rebranding news things, even though it's not hockey, even though it's a completely different sport. It was one of the biggest, most controversial rebrands of recent time. First off, you're rebranding like partway into the season. That's weird. That's really weird, and screams of disorganization and riffs and whatnot.
Did they just actually rebrand themselves during the season, or is it kind of like Tampa in 2011 where they were like, "Hey, here's our new brand for next year, but it's January."
No, they rebranded like 3 or 4 weeks into the season.
And the change made way to the jerseys and everything.
Well, I don't know. I don't even know if they had I don't know what their jerseys looked like. I don't know if they had the logo. I mean, even if they're the ones that they unveiled for the season and have worn so far, of course, have their now old Roundel logo on the chest, and I don't know if they're going to be switching that out or not anytime soon. They might just keep it for the season, even though their logo is going to be completely different. Who knows? Very strange move. And I don't know about anybody else, but I hate it. I like the idea of the logo, but just not only the look of it itself, but also just the way the word mark is integrated into it, which it's not. It just rests on top and then it rests below, and they try to nest it in there. I think it looks pretty darn bad. Again, we respect teams that go out and try something new and different. And it's like, okay, you don't want to look like all the other teams that have a roundel logo in soccer. Like, I respect that and understand it. However, your fan base spent 2 years campaigning to save the Crew, and then you're just like, great. Now that we're back a few years later, we're going to get rid of the Crew. Like, you can still call us that. We're just not officially called that. It's funny because the name change goes more traditional, like Columbus SC, like taking out the the more uniqueness of it. Because when the MLS started in '96, they're just like, oh, we have crazy names, the KC Wiz, the Columbus Crew, the LA Galaxy. It's just like it was complete departure from European, and they kind of have moved a little more towards that. And like, so the name is very traditional now,
The
but
Dallas
the logo,
Burn.
yeah, right. But their logo is anything but traditional now. They went away from a traditional logo and went a traditional name. Are they trying to find a balance, or I don't know what they're doing anyway. Anyway, before we get into that, we have received a message from Matt, who's had some terrible technical difficulties, and we're sorry about that. But he is going to send us a video clip of his thoughts about the Columbus Crew Columbus SC rebrand, and we're going to insert that right now. So let's listen to Matt.
Hello, my name is Matt Burke from Burkus Circus Studios, and as a local resident of Columbus, I am completely and utterly astounded by the Columbus Crew rebrand. I'm currently on vacation right now, but I still want to be able to record my thoughts to you and have the Jersey Nerds share them on their podcast. This rebrand is, to put it simply, an unmitigated disaster. I have a lot of thoughts on it, but the Columbus Crew supporter group, Nordeck, put out a statement in paper when they first initially saw the rebrand with their suggestions and predictions as to what would happen with the rebrand should the Crew move forward with it, which they eventually did. And they say things a lot better than I could, and it reads a lot like the diaries of a sinking ship. And I just feel like I'm going to let the Columbus Crew supporter group say what they believe about this rebrand. Consequently, major portions of the rebrand essentially trade out what is liked and recognized for components that will not be well received. In addition to the negative response from the current fan base, positive recognition will decline, and the overall brand will be substantively damaged. And then later, the concept of Columbus SC is not a new one, and was initially introduced during the pre-court era. There are multiple popular accounts that this was his original goal for the Crew SC rebrand, the one that they just shifted from. As such, the concept of Columbus SC became something of a boogeyman to the Crew supporters and fan base. For years, it has been discussed as a topic concept that would strip the founding club of MLS of its heritage, as well as a matter of disrespect to the fans. Outside of Columbus, the concept was, and is, seen as a sign to MLS fans and supporters broadly that the league did not value its heritage or community. While expansion clubs are added with this naming format, it receives a mixed to negative response from league fans. Essentially, it's tactically accepted outside the local market, but still widely derided. Conversely, a move to rebrand existing clubs into this naming convention is seen as damaging to the league and its history. As such, whenever an instance of this occurs, for example, Montreal, it is met with an increasing level of negativity that fundamentally damages the club and its relationship to the community. Another quote. The proposed new crest shares no historical elements of any prior crest, nor does it have any viable, visible tie to the club's history if the name Crew and 96 are dropped. The Crew are the original and founding team in Major League Soccer, whose history is the richest and broadest in the league. No other MLS team can lay claim to even a portion of the history the Crew has. Not incorporating this in some fashion into the crest or name will be met with strong criticism from the soccer community in Columbus and league-wide. Dropping Crew from the name, even if retained in other uses, will be met with an aggressive backlash league-wide. Save the Crew was a local effort by supporters. It benefited from league-wide support with nearly all team supporters sections participating in some fashion. These supporter groups view the victory of the Save the Crew movement in part as their victory. Consequentially, they are going to view the end of the Crew as an attack on their efforts as well. As a result, I would expect an aggressive negative response in Columbus, supported by a generally negative reception league-wide, and an almost certain resurgence in the Save the Crew hashtag on social media. The result of such a move will not be the evolution of the brand, but a near total erosion of what positive elements and brand recognition currently exist. I feel like that is a more than sufficient summary of what has occurred here. The owners of the Crew have basically, off the back of a championship, told the fan base of the club that of one of the founding members of this club to screw themselves. They have told them, we don't care about you. There's a direct quote from one of the owners saying, we are okay with losing 8,000 local fans if it means we get 15,000 internationally. Thing is, international fans don't come to your games. International fans will most likely not watch this team on TV. They'll be following along on socials and occasionally commenting and saying, hey, I support Columbus SC. And I'm convinced, in addition, that this brand will not gain any international supporters. We saw how European soccer fans reacted to the Super Leagues forming. And this, while not on the same level, obviously, is in that direction of owners going for money grabs and abandoning all formal and informal history the club has. It is a ownership group for fully acknowledging that they do not care about the history of the club. In terms of the actual new crests and logos, I will say I do like the new font that they use. I think it's nice and modern. It kind of reminds me of the Blue Jackets' original font, but actually good. So I wouldn't mind that sticking around. However, the crest that was moved from has been widely regarded as one of the best in MLS history. And the new one, I believe, is one of the worst. For one, the state flag shape isn't even accurate to the state flag. It resembles it, sure, but it's not accurate to the flag. So I don't think that is a viable excuse or reason. And two, it mentions in Nordic report, which I fully recommend reading in full, that there are 15 other sports teams, either in major Columbus cities or the big four sports, that use some variation of a C as their logo. For a rebrand that aims to stand out on the international stage, this fully does not do that. It's just another American sports team with a C logo. And I cannot think of a single thing besides the font that is a positive from this rebrand. I think the owners have completely eliminated all goodwill that they had going into this rebrand, coming off of an MLS championship. And I've replaced it with something that is hollow, something that looks underdeveloped, and that is, like I said, and like Nordeck says, completely disrespectful to the fans of the Crew. So, yeah, those are my thoughts. It's incredibly disappointing to see. I hope they see the error and revert back to the old logo, maybe with the updated font. But before I go, I do want to end on a positive and give a shout out to Crew Triangle on Twitter, which is a troll account that is posing as a little triangle in the bottom corner, and it is absolutely hilarious. I would highly recommend giving them a follow, and go ahead and give me a follow while you're on there or something. I honestly don't care, because apparently the Crew owners don't either. So those are my thoughts. Thanks for Jersey Nerds for letting me record this and send it in, and I hope you all have a great rest of your day and week and future. And crew owners, if you're listening to this, you've heard my thoughts. You've heard everyone's thoughts. Change it back.
And thank you for that opinion, Matt.
Thank you, Burkus. Very cool.
Good
It was
job.
very cool, very insightful, and we definitely know what you said because we're definitely not recording this before you send us the video clip.
Nope.
Thank you very much, Mr. Circus.
Mr. Circus.
Mr. Circus was my father.
I thought it was Mr. Studios.
Oh yeah,
Mr.
Circus is my middle name.
Burkus can pull a Columbus. He can be Matt BS. Wait, no, hold on.
That's
no,
bad.
sorry, Burkus CS. Sorry, I missed a letter in there.
Burkus
I thought college football got rid of the BCS.
It's not Matt.
Just call
Burkus
it
Studios,
Burkus
Burkus
SC,
CS.
and we'll just call it Burkus SC. And it'll be like Burkus Studios Circus.
Burkus CS.
Burkus Soccer
oh my
Club.
Gosh. Burkus Soccer. Well, that
He is no longer a designer. He is now a soccer team.
He's now a soccer club.
Arguably a better name than Columbus SC.
Oof.
You know what I think is the
for sure.
funniest thing about this rebrand?
What's that?
Excuse me. It's not like you said where they're like, hey, we're not the crew anymore, but you can call us that. It's literally, so we're not the crew anymore, but please still call us the crew. We're not the crew anymore, but
Right?
we are the crew.
That's
Call
what
us
I
the
was
crew.
gonna say.
Please do call us the crew.
That's
But
what I
we're
was gonna
not.
say. I was like, their
Oh,
whole
wait, are you
thing
the
is that
crew?
they're trying
No.
to distance themselves from the crew name, but they literally mention it multiple times in all the things. They created a whole word mark for just the crew aspect. But they're like, no, we're not the crew, but also we're the crew.
Now
Again,
that I
you're-
think about it, I've got to wonder if it's just like the organization trying to be like, we don't want the crew name, but the fans do. Let's slowly move away from it so they don't kill us. And they're you know,
Yeah, they're gonna kill you. They already killed you. You already screwed this up. Good job. You know, like what would be a good comparison in hockey? It'd be like, well, look at Columbus would be like an original six team in the MLS because they're one of the original teams. Like,
Yep.
say ooh.
It would be like Detroit becoming the Detroit Hockey Club, but still call us the Red Wings.
or if the Canadians were like, you can't call us the Habs anymore. Like, we're just the Canadians,
Also-
and you have to use our formal name at all times. Just like, you know,
Yeah, exactly.
we're taking out the H in our logo because even though it stands for hockey, but whatever, it doesn't stand for Habs.
I just realized something that's gonna
I
make
also
this a
think
lot
too,
weirder.
like,
What's that?
Hit
So-
me.
They're doing this season after they won the MLS championship.
Oh shoot, that's
Yeah.
right.
Yep.
I wonder
Oh
if
my
they had
gosh, are
this
you?
change planned and they couldn't back out of it either.
If
But
you have
yeah,
the
that
change
makes it 10
planned,
times worse.
why are you doing it a month into the season?
That's a good point. You raise a good point.
Like, what is your timing here? Like, what is your what are you doing?
This just screams disorganized. And
Yes, it
Apparently, they
screams
should be called the
incompetence.
Columbus Chaos.
Columbus Chaos.
You know,
Ah.
ha. So I found this article that like goes over the like the rebrand and like has a bunch of assets and stuff. I'm sure everybody's seen it. But there's this one thing that really pisses me off about these photos that they posted, and I'll post it so that you guys can see. They put an advertisement up with the new logo, but they didn't use the right word mark. They used a completely different font for the Lumbus part, and they just used the C. I'm like, you have a word mark that you made with the right font, and you still chose to not use that, and you just went with a completely different font.
C.
And-
Lumbus.
Lumbus.
See,
They literally
Columbus.
have
See,
a
see,
proper font that
Columbus.
they made for that word mark that would work so much better with that C logo, and they still decided not to use it. And that just drives me nuts.
I mean,
hate it
I'm
so
scared
much.
to see this.
I mean, yeah, good old Lumbus.
Oh, Columbus.
Good old
funny 'cause
Lumbus.
It's funny because Burkus hates me saying that, but like,
Oh,
oh,
that's worse than I was expecting.
Yeah, like they
Oh,
literally
no.
have a word mark with the proper font, and they still
Oh,
chose
yeah,
to do a
yeah.
different font.
And a different color.
Like, I get trying to shoehorn the logo itself in there,
In a
but
different
like,
color, yeah.
you're really gonna take your font that's just completely pointy, there's no rounded edges at all, and just choose a rounded font for the rest of it in a completely different color? What? Looks
I
like it
love
just says
the
Columbus.
Lumbus.
You go from crew to soccer club, like if you have an identity that has like a name attached to it, like are there any other instances of teams just like dropping their? I mean, I guess in MLS there's some precedent for that, like the Kansas City. I think they were the Kansas City Wizards at one point, and then they just said, "Oh, we're sporting Kansas City now," you know. So I mean,
I think
but
that's
again,
happened with quite a few MLS teams
yeah. Then again,
since
Wizards
they've
isn't the
went
best
very
name.
European traditional.
Like
Yeah.
Whiz, baby!
Cheese Whiz, but in the name Crew, there's a sense of community in the name Crew, you know, and so fans have obviously
Yep.
rallied around that, and it's like you just want a MLS Cup, like why are you? It's amazing, it's astounding
Guys,
and
it
incredible.
could be worse.
It
You
could
know,
be the
it could
Ottawa
be worse than
Senators.
Columbus SC. They could be called they could be called Club de Foot.
Club de Foot.
I love the Montreal Impact's rebrand, except for the name. I hate that name so much.
I'm gonna club your
people
foot.
are like, it's just French. They're like, it's just French for soccer club. I'm like, it's not. It's literally just saying club de foot. It's like if an
Nobody in
English
Quebec
person
calls
just
it
tried to
that.
put their best French spin on soccer club. Like, stop.
Hey guys, hey everybody. It's nice that you've been traded here. Welcome to our foot club.
That makes it even so much worse. They got so many problems going on there.
Today we're gonna talk about feet and balls.
Stop talking. We're done now.
To a hard transition out of that. The thing about their logo though is that I don't think it's a bad logo. If this was an expansion team, I would have been fine with that logo. If it was like a secondary logo for either them or like the Blue Jackets, it was recolored, I think I'd be fine with that. I like the idea of incorporating a C into the Ohio flag like that, the outline. It just, compared to what they had before, it pales in comparison. And I think that's where they have all of the issue.
Absolutely.
And people were making fun of it because they like the shape of the logo is inspired by the Columbus flag, but it's like, but it's not the shape of the flag. It's a different shape than the flag, you know.
Yes.
It's the wrong. It's crazy.
Isn't it the shape of the flag?
It's like close, but not quite. So like, because the Columbus flag is a weird shape already.
Or isn't it the Ohio flag? Sorry, not the Columbus
flag. Oh, excuse me. I messed all it. Yes, the Ohio flag. What? Why did they
taper in as much? I guess. Yeah, I don't think it does it?
Yeah, the triangle part isn't as.
Why does Columbus have to be the city that represents the whole state of Ohio?
Because
I mean, I guess we can ask Burkus that one.
Why is it Columbus that's always the one having to adopt the Ohio flag? Why doesn't Cleveland have to do the Ohio flag, huh?
Oh, I see
Cincinnati
what you mean.
That's Ohio flag.
Interesting.
You answered your own question when you said Cleveland.
At least we're not Detroit.
Oh God.
Columbus the state capital. I guess that's why.
Oh, okay, that makes a lot of sense.
Yeah.
I was gonna say like Columbus in the NHL does it, and Columbus in the MLS does it, but like, does like the other sports leagues that don't do it? They have other teams anyways, but I think state capital is the answer.
Okay.
Anyways, so
in looking up the city of Columbus, I have discovered the word mark for the city of Columbus.
Oh no, I'm scared.
I didn't know they had an official word mark.
It looks like just Gotham font. However, the city of Columb is in blue, and then the us on the end is in red. Columb,
I love it.
us.
Oh,
So it's the us SC.
Jesus.
I love
Us
it.
SC.
Bus SC.
Bus. Slowly turning into a TikTok franchise.
Can we-
Bus SC.
Can we call Matt just like Bus Circus?
Bust.
Oh, please.
Bus Circus too.
Cuss. We just take the
No.
burr out. It's just cuss
You can't.
circus.
No cussing. No.
Cuss.
All right, that's enough of that. Let's open up the mail sack.
They're really Columbusin.
Did
No.
you just call it the mail sack?
Well, we were talking about all that earlier.
Did you? I missed that.
Open up
is
the
this?
mailbag, Bpoe. Listener questions. Woo!
Mailbag.
right.
Mailbag.
Let us start with a question.
Let
since he
us.
couldn't be on. We'll let us with a question from Burkus,
Tomato.
directed at all of you guys.
Oh gosh, how many times
Since-
is he going to be on this episode?
God.
Well, I think we've got at least one more.
He gets his
Since your teams missed the playoffs, which bandwagon you guys jumping on?
bandwagon.
I hardly know her. Nope, that doesn't work.
I don't want to have to jump on one bandwagon because it's like
You all right today, Chris?
when it comes to the playoffs, like I'm just gonna root for absolute chaos, you know. And so the team I least want to see win even one game is the Washington Capitals. I hope they don't win a single game. I hope they get swept. I hope that I hope they die, partially because their jerseys are so bad. And like
Wow.
like I said before, I want to see Carolina as an organization be successful, but not in these jerseys. And so I have to go with the team that's an underdog, a team that has struggled to make the playoffs for so much of their history, and a team that we have all decided have very good jerseys, even though most people don't seem to think so. Florida Panthers. Go win a cup.
Florida.
Go win a cup, Panthers. Go show Florida that you exist. Who needs the Lightning? Go beat up the Lightning. I hate the Lightning's jerseys anyway. Like, so that's what I'll say.
What?
What? They're boring and they suck.
Yeah, okay, so the Leafs jerseys then.
No, those are classic and timeless and better because they don't have a black
Shut
outline
up,
on them.
Hunter! How dare you say something so right?
I mean, I would love to see the Leafs do well too. Like there's just no like. I'd love to see them do well and like finally, get the monkey off their back or whatever. But just like, it's not gonna happen. Like, I'm sorry, it's Toronto. They're not gonna win it. It's like I hope they do,
I mean,
but they're not gonna.
No.
Like,
we don't hope
so
that they do anything.
ultimate chaos. For ultimate chaos, go Florida. Noah, what do you got?
I mean,
honestly,
if Toronto's got any year to at least make the conference final?
Exactly.
Not conference final, the quote unquote conference
Semi.
final. It's this year.
Semi-final. No
Yeah.
conferences.
To make it out of their division.
Noah, you rooting for your
And then
hat?
it'll be what, the final four?
The Oilers are actually one of my bandwagon teams, just because I want to see McDavid tear it up in the playoffs. We haven't really seen him do that yet. And also, any team that's playing the Leafs, I'll be cheering for, because the Leafs suck. And then maybe Colorado.
Yep.
Just because they're a fun young team. But yeah, those are my two technically.
Can you imagine if the Avalanche win a cup in their white jerseys, blue pants?
Ew.
Yeah. No. Wait. Unfortunately,
Hunter.
I think that's exactly what's going to happen now.
Great. What do you got for us, Hunter?
The hard
NHL
thing for
playoff.
me is that once the Sens are out of the playoffs, which has been happening a lot more frequently in the previous years.
Once they're out of the playoffs.
I usually just stop watching hockey altogether and focus on other things. I'll keep an eye on what's going on in the playoffs. So I don't really ever have a bandwagon team. If I had to pick one, probably Colorado. I agree with Noah that I cheer for whoever is playing against the Leafs. So in this case, Montreal is my pick for that series, anyways. But I think Colorado is probably going to end up being my bandwagon team, just based on uh, Colorado and Vegas. Those are my two bandwagon teams. I like Vegas. Vegas is fun. And Mark Stone, my boy.
I miss
Part,
that.
part of me feels like Vegas is gonna go win it all, and then part of me feels like Minnesota is gonna upset them first round, and it's gonna be one or the other. It's gonna be one thing or the other.
Yeah.
Is
So
it just
funny.
me, or does there feel like there's so many more teams contending this year than there normally are? Because there's usually like a couple front runners, but like this year, I think Vegas and Colorado are of course in the mix. I think Toronto very well could actually go ahead and do it. I think Pittsburgh could possibly go ahead and do it, and that could just be biased. But they have a very deep and strong team
You're
this year
biased.
too, if they're healthy. And I mean, like even Boston, I think could make a lot of noise. Like there's so many teams this year. Is that just me?
It's probably everyone except Winnipeg.
I feel like it's mostly just the fact that this season's been so topsy-turvy in terms of like teams making it that like it's wide open anyways. Like,
Yeah.
there's the teams you expected to make it pretty much made it, but like with the way that people constantly just talked so negatively about the Habs throughout the season, I didn't think they were going to be making the playoffs at all, and here we are.
But I thought they were a juggernaut.
They were the first 5 games into the season, because when will Habs fans learn that 5 games don't make a season? But here we are.
Jugger.
I hardly know her. Yay, we got it.
Jugger. How about not?
Not.
Juggernaut.
I get it.
I
Ha.
see what you did there.
Your
Habs.
Canadians, more like your playoff run Canadian ends here.
Yeah, okay. I'll give you that one.
Ah?
It was a little wordy, but I'll give you that one.
Okay, and then we're assuming Bpoe's rooting for the Pens, and if he's not, then
Yes.
that'll be news to us
Yeah, but who's your
After
bandwagon
the
team once the Pens get eliminated?
in the
We
first
gotta
round.
Toronto.
I mean, Toronto. They're my second favorite team.
Leave.
That's fair.
It's 100%
No,
because of Steve
Leafs,
Dangle that
not
Toronto has
Leafs.
become my second team.
Leafs.
It's pronounced Leafs. That's how you say it, even though that's grammatically wrong.
Toronto being my second favorite team is 100% Steve Dangle's fault, just because
That
of,
was-
recent years.
that
I've
was
been listening
honestly
to that
really
podcast.
That was really smart of Toronto, actually, because like if you look outside and see a bunch of things on the ground, like from a tree, you're like, oh, those are leaves. But if you say Leafs, everyone knows you're talking about the hockey team.
I don't know if they were thinking about that whenever they named the team in 1927 or whatever.
No, they definitely were. They're
How
like,
are we
can't
gonna name this team
we can't-
appropriately for later?
we can't name our team the Maple Leaves. What if people confuse us with real Maple Leaves? Have I got an idea for you?
Shall we
Bpoe,
move on to the next question? All right, I'll take
mail
this.
sack.
This question is from Noah, the one sitting right here,
Wow.
before
Oh.
he became a writer
Oh,
slash
we're digging
podcaster.
deep.
Is that
on the
allowed?
show. It is allowed.
Okay.
Is that allowed?
Is this allowed? Yeah, is that allowed?
Again, any of you guys who have submitted a question will know that we have been disorganized a little bit with our mailbag and the mailbag channel in the Discord, and told us recently when I made a spreadsheet.
You lost the mailbag?
Oh. I didn't
lost
lose
the
the
mail
mailbag.
sack?
It's just not
I
organized.
gave you that. It was a really sturdy, durable canvas bag. How do you lose?
The question is that, is there a jersey that breaks one of your rules of design that you still like for some reason? Basically, what jersey should you hate with a passion, but you actually like it? I alluded to this earlier. I'm just going to go quickly. It's the Penguins alternate for me. I don't like really any other jersey that doesn't have a hem stripe, but I've tried mocking that one up with a hem stripe in some way, shape, or form. Nothing has worked for me. So I'm just defaulting to the fact that I guess that is the best option. It has no hem stripe and it works, and I like it a lot. That's my answer.
I guess I could go with an easy cop-out, as I have said that I hate when teams have a black or navy number on a colored jersey. I hate the Oilers doing it. I hate that the Flames have it as an alternate, had it for this season. I hate the Ducks orange alternate because of it. And like it's a nice jersey, but I hate the fact that it's a dark colored number on a colored jersey. Nashville is really the only instance where I like it. You know, like I like seeing it on them. If those jerseys had a white number, oh, I'd be mad. And yeah, it works in Pittsburgh. So I guess with a yellow jersey it works, like I said before. But almost anywhere else I hated. Oh gosh, the Rangers too. Why does it work in the Rangers? Oh, I hate what it works so like I can't like Ranger. Imagine.
Oh no!
Imagine the New York Rangers blue jerseys with a white number and red drop shadow for a second. Just picture that in your head.
That's weird.
Right? That's weird.
No,
I don't like it. But that's like... yeah.
Okay, here's one for you. What about Buffalo's current home jersey and also St. Louis before Adidas when they had the yellow numbers on blue?
Well, that's the thing. It's a color. It's a color number, but it's lighter than the jersey. I'm saying when you have a colored jersey and the numbers are a dark color.
Got it.
That's what I guess New York. I don't know if they qualify because they're like their lightness, darkness, hue, saturation levels. They're about the same between the red and the blue. Like they're pretty similar. Like no one is that much darker than the other. So it's...
I mean, I guess if you made it black and white, it's probably almost like it's just a gray jersey with the same gray in the numbers. So.
Oh yeah, the Senators reverse retro too. That's another sinner. Black numbers on a red jersey.
All the reverse retros are pretty much bad for that.
I mean, we're not even going to talk about the Leafs reverse retro on their numbers, but let's just move on there. Yeah.
I love gray. My favorite.
You mean blue numbers with a gray outline?
Oh, that's right. It's the other way around.
Did we make the Ballard joke on that about how they, because when they were forced to put nameplates on in their history, how they made the nameplates the same color as the jersey because they were stubborn and petty? Like, did we make the joke about how those reverse retro numbers are the same thing? Blue numbers and a blue jersey.
No.
We should have made that joke.
I love that. We should have.
We're making it now.
So the funny thing about this is we're making it now, yeah. The funny thing about this question is I remember when Noah asked it and I thought about it briefly, but I still haven't really come up with an actual answer for the question. You know, I don't think I have any specifics. I don't think I have any specific rules of design that I think about enough that I like require teams to follow in my head. I think there are a couple jerseys that I like that I know other people hate and I know I shouldn't like because they're badly designed. Case in point, this ugly Stadium Series jersey hanging over my shoulder and the Burger King jersey I'm wearing right now are two jerseys that I think I have a soft spot for, but I don't know if it's just because they're so outrageous that they're kind of fun or if it's just, you know, I mean, I know they're bad, but I don't think they break any rules of design that I have in my head that like I require that they need to meet. So, but I'll say those two, Burger King and the Avs Stadium Series jersey are probably two.
There's one other thing I think I want to throw out here, and that's a jersey that, you know, like whenever like I'm playing like an NHL video game or something and would play as a certain team like years ago, like probably NHL 13 or 15 or something, like there'd always be some teams who are just like, oh, I hate their jersey set, so I always wear the alternate, you know, if I'm playing with them or against them or whatever. The mid-2010s Ottawa Senators were that for me. And so what I want to talk about right now is their black alternate jersey they had that had the red stripe and then the cream stripe across the chest. Same thing on the hem, same thing on the sleeves. I hate the fact that the cream number ends up against a cream stripe. Yeah, like that one behind you. Except I hate the fact that you get a cream number against a cream stripe, but there's no better way to do it. And it really pisses me off that that's a really good looking jersey. And I really like the way that looked. I thought it was, I mean, at the time, it was the best jersey they'd had, at least since their inception, I mean, the cream version they wore in the Heritage Classic was better, I'll say. But that black one was still really good. And I just, I hated that, there was no way to resolve that because, I still really like it even with that. I mean, what the Heritage one did was they made the number the same color as the base of the jersey. You can't have a black number in a black jersey, though. That would be awful.
I was about to say, yeah, you can just make it black and pull a Philadelphia, except to actually have a chest
Oh,
stripe behind
gosh.
it. But
no. Please, no. Bpoe, you got any?
Yep.
Oh, wait, no, you
unless
already
guys
already said it. You already talked, didn't you?
Oh, I thought you meant another mailbag question.
Oh,
Noah,
we
did
can
you
do that
answer
one.
this? I saw you show your jersey to the camera, but
Yeah, whatever. Anyway. Didn't we have one more playoff themed one?
Yep, I've got two more questions, and one of them is very short. Unless you guys want to go longer, I can add another. We got
Do
two
the
other mailbag
short
questions
one.
that we'll save later. Well, okay, I've got two regardless. So the first one is a tie into our earlier topic, and I was hoping it would transition smoothly, but our topics got switched around a little bit. So a question from also Burkus. Which playoff teams should use their alternate or reverse retro over their home and or away jersey for the playoffs? So obviously we have the Penguins and the Hurricanes actually doing it. What teams should? And that includes also that the Hurricanes should not, I guess, which we all agree on that. So we'll just say that. Any other teams that should be doing this?
Let me first remind myself about the teams that are in the playoffs because we don't want to miss any.
I would argue Boston, if they're going to be switching to that full time. I would argue Boston maybe should.
I would say Tampa.
You could. I don't know if they should.
Excuse me?
Pick.
Oh, you meant the reverse. I thought you meant their alternate, not the reverse retro.
Oh,
Tampa go full black alternate in the playoffs. Yes.
No.
See, I knew you meant the reverse retro from the beginning because nobody here likes that Tampa alternate.
I would argue that St. Louis does their heritage, but we talked about this last week where it was like, do they really need to? Not really, but
yeah.
If anybody was going to do it out of the playoff teams, I think I would be least upset if St. Louis was like, we're going to wear our heritage this playoff. It's like, all right, cool. Like, do your thing. Like,
I mean, if they happen to be wanting to change to it full time, I suppose it could be a, good move branding wise in the long term. It's funny how, I know we've mentioned it before. I feel like the Islanders could pull it off. I guess the problem is just that it's Navy instead of Royal. They're reverse retro. Because I like the white on top of the orange stripe better than the orange on top of the white stripe like they have it now, but the navy really kind of kills it.
I'm gonna say one because I know Justin would probably say it if he was here, but he's not. But Nashville wearing the reverse retro during the playoffs. Oh. Yeah, I knew Chris was gonna say no, but I know Justin would have brought it up if he was here, and I'm gonna back him up on that because honestly, do it. Like, bring that silver back into my life. Like.
The only teams I can justify wearing an alternate or a reverse retro in the playoffs at home. Wait, no.
It could be home or the
road.
road.
On. Yeah, I was going to say,
the reverse retros are white.
There's a reason that I realized that distinction, because Edmonton's reverse retro on the road wouldn't be bad.
I was going to say too. Yep.
I don't know if it, I'm not sure if it'd be an improvement, but it wouldn't be bad. And I just hate the Washington Capitals uniform so much that even their reverse retro or their alternate would be a better decision than what they have, okay?
Ooh, okay. Hear me out. Vegas wears their alternates or third jerseys. Let's be specific there, since there is that distinction. Vegas wears their third jerseys for the playoffs, the gold metallic ones, and they win the cup in it. Imagine that.
If they're not wearing the gold helmets, I don't want to see it.
I mean, I want to see them wear the gold helmets with the jersey too, but they won't. They don't seem to want to. It's also funny how like they also have the reverse retro, which is a great jersey, but just like there's no reason to wear it in the playoffs.
I don't care what Matt told us about, oh, we did tests about the number visible. I don't care. I don't want gray numbers on your gold jersey. I don't want it. I hate it. Make it go away. Make it stop. Make it die. It's bad. From my perspective.
What I'm saying is,
you could put a double, like if you have to put a double outline on it, then do it. Whatever it takes, please. Gosh.
Oh man.
Again, we talked about Ottawa's
Gold numbers
heritage.
on a gold jersey.
Ottawa made a cream jersey with cream numbers. It's like then they just put a double outline on it. Like it's you can do it. It's possible. You think Toronto cared about visibility when they made their reverse retros? No, they didn't. So white numbers on the gold.
Toronto should wear their reverse.
No.
It's a dark enough gold. I'm sorry.
Toronto should wear the reverse retros full time during the playoffs, just because if they don't lose the first round, they're still losing in that aspect.
Holy.
Yes.
And I can be happy.
My disappointment is immeasurable, and my day is ruined.
I would like to point out that I think.
Oh,
sorry. I was just gonna say. I did want to point out that I think maybe the Habs could probably bump their reverse retros up as an alternate option to their home, obviously. But I wouldn't want them to do it. But they could. I wouldn't want them to.
Let me throw a quick follow-up out there. Which team would we want to wear just one uniform throughout the playoffs?
Ooh.
Like if there's any teams that could pull that off. Because I was thinking, like I mean,
Edmonton in the reverse retros.
if sure, yeah, that could work. If we could bring Carolina's Reds back in, I would want to see those the entire time, no matter what. You know, like because they're there's just no cohesiveness between their uniform set. Their home is way different from the away. Because I was gonna joke and say, what if Carolina wore their home striping on their away jersey for the playoffs? But no, I don't get that choice. I don't get to choose that. Or Colorado in their homes would be good the whole time. Like, let's make St. Louis wear white the whole time. I'm fine with that.
Yeah, absolutely. Well, see, that's why I suggested Edmonton's as reverse retro, because they're already white, and that'd be the color that everybody wouldn't want to wear, right? So they could just be like, fine, we'll wear white all playoffs then, right?
Yeah. All right, Bpoe, hit us with our last mailbag question.
All right, we've got one last one, very quick one, directed directly at Noah. What type of music do you like, Noah? This is from Burkus.
Oh my gosh!
For context, in the Discord chat, we were talking about music, and Noah didn't want to, say his music taste. So Burkus is like, "Hey, mailbag question."
We have to get Burkus out of the spotlight here.
Look, man, he has 4 of the 6 questions on this mailbag question list.
It's a lot.
So I think we need other people submitting mailbag questions too.
Do.
So if you got any, throw them our way.
Okay.
Join the Discord.
Yeah. So in terms of music, honestly, I just like anything that's catchy and upbeat. Like, I don't like listening to slow songs because they make me sad, and I don't like that.
What a cop-out.
Catchy and upbeat.
What a cop-out.
Okay, in terms of genre...
So you would like the Russian national anthem, then?
Like a bit of EDM, a bit of hip-hop, like... That's it. Some rock.
You like a bit of everything, then?
Yeah.
As long as it's upbeat.
I mean, that's fair. Like, I consider myself the type of person that likes most genres. I adamantly do not like country music, but that's just me. And I hate that that's become the trend, because then people think that I'm just like not liking country music to be cool, and it's like, no, like I've always hated country music. It's not a thing.
Yeah, that's
There are
fair.
a couple pop country songs, like the new modern style of country that's kind of more poppy than country that I dig, but like I don't go out of my way to listen to country music at all.
Have you guys
Completely
ever
fair.
heard of Bubba Sparks? Probably not, but have
Bubba
you?
Sparks.
No.
It sounds
He
familiar,
is
actually.
he makes hip hop country. Or made.
Oh,
I don't know when he's most recently released anything, but it's not the worst as a hip hop guy. It's not too bad. It's not my thing, but it's also
wild.
Bubba Sparks with 3 X's at the end, by the way, if you wanted to look it up.
What
No,
does
I
he
did
say?
not. Thank you very much.
A single as of April 22nd of this year. So I
There
guess
you
he's
go.
still releasing. Yeah, an album last year. 2018 an album. So yeah, I get it, he's still you know,
Doing his thing.
very much in the game.
Crazy. Okay. Part of me wanted to throw something out real quick, but I think we can get into more playoff related things going into next week. Because in my brain, I was like, what do we think could be the best and worst possible uniform matchups in the Cup final? But I think we can throw that out there next week along with actual predictions once, some of the games have started and once we're
Yeah.
not plagued with a tsunami of Burkus for this whole episode. Gosh, he wasn't even here, and yet you managed to get him in at every single turn. Jeez. Well, I hope you're
He's
happy,
playing
Matt.
4D chess.
Mr. Circus.
I hope you're happy, Burkus SC.
Bus Circus.
That's Mr. Burkus SC to you.
Mr. Burkus SC was my father. Yeah. Well,
Anyway,
thanks for
you
listening
can,
to the Jersey Nerds Burkus episode.
if you really want to follow Matt,
The
I mean, you,
Burkus Nerds podcast.
you can go listen to our previous episode where we had him on for part of it. You can follow him at Burkus, BURKUS _ Circus _ If you really want to, though I'm not sure why you want to, but anyway, we'll see what happens, whatever. Okay, we're looking forward to the playoffs, looking forward to seeing some good jerseys, some bad jerseys, and looking forward to hopefully none of the NHL teams changing their names to Hockey Club anytime soon.
Washington Hockey Club.
I
Washington.
mean, if they
Hockey
change the
Club.
jerseys too, then
no.
sure, I'm for it. HC.
The Washington hockey team.
I saw a TikTok the other day where somebody recommended that Washington, like names for the Washington football team, and one of them was just football, like not even Washington football, just football.
Football.
Hey, who are
And
the
today we
Steelers
have the
playing
LA
against this week?
Chargers versus football in Washington, downtown Washington D.C.
They are the football.
No, they play in Maryland actually.
Oh, in
There's
Maryland.
there's no room for a stadium in DC, I don't think.
That makes sense.
Yeah.
I mean, the Caps are in DC, I believe.
Yeah, they're right downtown.
Capital One Arena.
DC.
Yeah,
I've walked by there. It's not bad. Once.
I went to a game there once. I feel like I brought that up not too long ago.
Maybe, yeah.
I don't know if I did or not.
Why would I want to go to the States right now?
I did this before coronavirus was a thing. Unfortunately.
Right, yeah.
Unfortunately. I mean, I'm glad I did it before COVID was a thing, but I'm not glad that COVID is
Yeah.
a thing. So
Everybody continue to stay safe out there, however things are where you are. And enjoy the playoff hockey and all the other sports going on.
We're almost there, everybody. We're only one more week into Bpoe's 2-week prediction. A year and a half later. But we're getting there.
I'm
So
never
good.
living that one down, am I?
No.
Nope. Nor are we going to let you. Yep, thanks everybody for listening. Go check out our Redbubble store. We got hockey things, football things on there, stickers,
Do it or
whatnot,
else.
anything you want. It's on there. Go get it now.
We
Well,
will
like
find
hockey.
you if you don't.
What?
We'll find you if you don't. Look at our Redbubble, damn it.
Yeah, hop on. Just click our link tree in the bios and our socials, and then see where it takes you. It's
Join
pretty
our
fun to do.
Discord. Send us mailbags.
Yeah, we'll be hoping to have
Stacked.
more articles and things coming out soon lately.
Join the server.
And yeah, we'll do whatever we can to give you guys some decent content or some trash content. Who knows?
Just terrible content.
Anyway, thanks for listening to four men wearing. Thanks for listening to four men wearing sleeves.
Sleeves.
Just sleeves.
Catch you on the flip side. I'll be back.
And I'll be
This
Mozart.
town ain't big enough for the two. I'll have what he's having.
This town ain't big enough for the two of us. This podcast
Just recording a
ain't big enough for
podcast.
the
How about
two of
you?
us. Just trying to record the end of a podcast. How about you?
This whole thing is just the ending.
This podcast will self-destruct in 3, 2. The Jersey Nerds podcast is a production of Jersey Nerds Media. The Jersey Nerds are Bpoe, Hunter, Justin, Chris, and Noah. Follow us on Instagram and Twitter at @the_Jersey Nerds and hit that link in our bio to find our blog, our Discord channel, our online store, and more. And be sure to rate, comment, and subscribe to the podcast wherever you listen to us. We really appreciate it. From the Jersey Nerds to you, thanks for just listening to a podcast about you.